Good day, everyone. This is Sebastian back with another quick video on Excel. And today's tool that we're going to take a look at is the GoalSeek tool. And this tool is a part of the forecasting group of tools under What If Analysis. And what we're going to do in this example is we are going to quickly calculate a mortgage payment for a home, and then we will use the GoalSeek tool to help us get to a specific value. Okay, so if you've watched my other videos before, you'll notice that to set up a payment calculation, we need some information. So for example, we need to know what the loan amount is. And so I'm building this here in our spreadsheet using GoalSeek in A1. A3, we'll put the label loan amount. Below that, we will put the rate. So that's your rate for the loan. And then you also need to know the term. So these are the things in which you will need to know at a minimum in order to calculate your payment. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just populate these values with just random numbers that will make sense in our market today. So assuming that you were buying real estate in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, the prices are quite up there and the market is hot. So let's say you're a first-time buyer and the home that you're looking for costs $500,000. Well, you're able to put down $450,000. Okay, so the cost of the home is not what we need. We need to know how much it is that you're borrowing. In this case, we're going to borrow 450,000 of that $500,000 purchase. A going rate right now for a mortgage, if you have good credit and all that good stuff, you're probably looking at somewhere at the 2.1%, or maybe even less. It depends. Who you're banking with and things of that nature. So I'm going to go with 2.1% because that seems pretty reasonable. Just a reminder to everyone, always ensure that you're using that percent symbol when calculating a payment, because otherwise your numbers will be astronomical and we don't want that. Typically, mortgages these days for a property are anywhere between 25, sorry, and 30 years, depending again if you are that first-time buyer or if you have equity in a property already. We'll go with the simple 25 year because that's what most people like to do. And there's a whole different lesson that we can have about refinancing your mortgage, and how to manipulate that so you can save some interest. But that's for a whole different conversation. We are going to take a look at this payment here, and to calculate it, we need to go to the FX button here to insert a function. And the function we're looking for is the payment function, so PMT. I'm going to click go, and I'm going to get that payment calculation and, or sorry, payment function, and click OK. The dialog box will now appear. What we need to do is we need to ensure that we populate this dialog box with cell references from our spreadsheet. To use GoalSeek effectively, you must use cell references. Otherwise, it won't auto recalculate our payments later on. So let's go with the rate. Rate is located in cell B4. So we click B4. Notice how the numerical value is on the right. But what's most important is that B4 is the cell reference that we use. At this time, you have to make a decision of, how often are these payments going to be made. Typically, a lot of people like to look at the monthly payment so that they can budget properly. If we are doing months, and again, this is not a payment calculation video, but I might as well bring it up again in case you haven't seen the payment video from before. If it is a monthly payment, we need to take this yearly rate and divide it by 12, because we need to figure out what is the monthly payment. And this rate is for 1 year at a time. So it's simply take your rate divided by 12. N per is your number of periods. And what we need to do is we need to take a look at our term, which is located in B5. We need to know how many months total, so we multiply by 12. Notice the rate gets divided, the periods get multiplied, and on the right hand side you see the number 300. Our next step is to identify the present value of our loan. Our present value is negative what we borrow. So we need to put in a negative symbol and then click the cell that holds the value of our loan. And that is, in this case, B3. So there you have it. Rate divided by 12 because it's monthly. Number of periods multiplied by 12 because it's in years. We need months over here. And then negative B3, the value of your loan, which is $450,000. I'm going to click OK. You will notice that based on this payment calculation, your payment for this property a month would be $1,929.33, which is, in today's day and age, that is pretty much the average payment most people are paying on their homes right now. Here's the situation though. Let's say you see this house, you love a house, and you go to the bank and you say, hey, I'd like to purchase a house. What can I qualify for from a monthly payment standpoint? The bank turns around and says to you, well, unfortunately, based on income and all these other factors, the most you can afford a month is $1,800. The payment for your mortgage, the most will allow is $1,800. And so what that now does is it kind of puts you in a situation where you look at this number and you're not quite sure, how do I get that down to 1,800? Well, this example will tell you that in typical fashion, you do not really have a whole lot of control on the rate. The rate is usually set by the banks, and they're usually all similar depending on how much you shop around. Term, especially if you're a first-time buyer, they don't typically allow you to change these or have any fluctuations in it. They really want to make sure that for first-time buyers, they have the mortgage in place for a set amount of time to make sure the payments can be made. And so 25 years, 30 years at most would be common. So if you don't really have control over these two values, the one thing you do have all the control of is how much you are going to pay for a property. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use GoalSeek to tell us, well, I can't afford a $450,000 mortgage. We know it's going to have to be a little bit less, but just how much less? We don't want to sit here and start typing random numbers. Like I don't want to go here and say, okay, well, I can't afford this. Let me try 445,000. Press enter. I'm still not where I need to be. And we could do this all day, but it doesn't make it right. So we're going to use the tool. I'm going to change that back to what it was. We're going to use the tool to tell us exactly how much can we borrow to get this payment amount to be exactly 1,800. So let's do it. We click on our payment in B7. And then what we do is we go to the what if analysis section here in forecast. And there's a down pointing arrow in which allows us to use our GoalSeek tool. It's right there. Click on GoalSeek, a dialog box comes up. Really simple, nice and easy. And basically what it's asking you is, okay, what cell do you want to set? Well, we want to set our payment to a specific value of $1,800. So we type in 1800. And now the last piece of information it wants is, well, which cell are we changing to make this happen? Well, we already discussed we don't have control really over the rate or the term, but we do have all the control over the loan amount. So that's the one we're going to click. So set cell B7, that's our payment, to a value of specifically 1,800. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the loan amount to make this happen. Click OK. Takes a second to process. And there you have it. To get an exact $1,800 payment, we need to only spend on our home, and I'm going to format it, $419,835.23. And if you were to go and see this property and put in an offer, you would put in an offer for whatever your down payment is plus what your loan amount is allowable of. I hope this video was helpful for you. GoalSeek is a tremendous tool. I use it all the time in the business that I'm in, and this is a prime example of why it's important to be able to quickly analyze your information and get to the number you need as fast as possible. You guys have yourselves a great day. Take care.